Good evening, everybody out there in social media land. Welcome to our, I don't really have a name for this, so this is the live stream candidate conversation. This is a roundtable type of evening where we're just gonna hear from our local candidates for village trustee. Before we get started, I'd like to thank Billy Iverson and Acquisitions Marketing for giving their services for tonight and making this possible, and thank all the candidates for being here. Gabe might still come in. He had a loss in the family, so our condolences to his family, and hopefully he makes it. But if not, I'm sure he's going to hit the comments to answer any questions. So if you have any direct questions to him, please hit the comments. They'll go back and look at that. And for your questions tonight, if we don't get to public comment, leave them in Acquisitions Marketing's feed. Make sure to leave that there. You can leave them in any personal feeds too for any of the candidates here, and they will go back. They have the opportunity to go back and answer any questions there as well. We have a moderator here tonight moderating the questions too, so if they see something pertinent, they'll try and get it out there. If there's bad audio, let us know, and Faith will get that information to us. We're gonna have some questions going out to the candidates tonight. They're gonna have about 3 minutes to answer. They did get to see the questions just beforehand, but they didn't know them before tonight. I didn't write them either. I got them from other sources. I thought they were relevant to some of the needs of Walden, and they'll have about 3 minutes to answer. At 3 minutes, we'll let them know to wrap it up, and then we'll go into learning a little bit about who the candidates are and why they're running and what they're passionate about. And if we have anything left at the end, we'll either do a lightning round or we'll go to the public comment. You guys have any questions before we get started? No questions. Thank you again for being here, and thank you again, Billy, for your services. If you're looking for great streaming services, great marketing, Acquisitions Marketing right on Main Street in Walden, a great local business that jumped right in to do this. So thanks again, Billy, for your services, buddy. He's the man behind the camera, so you won't get to hear him too. So this election had some crazinesses that happened, and now we have more write-in candidates than we normally had. So I thought it would be relevant to start off by you guys kind of explaining to the camera the write-in process and any tips you can give people out there. So if they do want to vote for a write-in candidate, if they want to write in even somebody that's not here, they can, I believe, correct? Mm-hmm. I've been written in before. Yes, you have. So I think it'd be a great example. Does anybody want to go first? Talk about that.
Do you want to explain it?
You were like the one that knew a lot.
Oh, I mean,
so I'm looking at you. Yeah.
Right. So I mean, like one of the concerns I've heard from a lot of people, right? Because my name isn't the easiest to spell. Okay. It's things like that. So one of the things we did is we're going to hand out cards to kind of help people. But it is my understanding, after speaking with some references at the Board of Elections and looking stuff up, spelling it's not a spelling test. If you fail to spell my name correctly, but it's legible. The intent is there. If you fail to spell Caesar's name correctly, if you use the wrong version of Caesar instead of the way he spells it, it should be accepted. There's no problem. If you go as far though as to use just initials, that's a no-go. So just a couple letters off here and there, as long as the intent and it's clearly legible, it should be acceptable.
Okay. So. I had somebody ask too, and Jerry, you may know this, I don't know, but is there any early voting for anybody or mail-in voting? Was there any?
There's absentee ballots, but there's not an early voting like there is with regular elections.
Okay. All right. So that was a question I was asking for this.
The one thing about the absentee ballots, in a normal voting situation, the ballots have to be postmarked by the date of the election.
Okay.
In village elections, they have to be there that day.
In person.
Or the absentee ballots have to
be there the day of. So on the 18th, no later than whatever time they close. Okay. So carrier pigeon, what you're saying. All right.
But the deadline to pick them up is the 17th. Okay. So you cannot go to the village office on Wednesday morning and ask for an absentee. You have to be there before end of business on the 17th to obtain one. It's too late to mail an application.
I think this was good just for that, for learning. I'm learning so much about this process. This is great. So thank you guys very much.
Jake, you want to take a second to introduce everybody?
Yeah, sure. I'll let everybody introduce themselves. Go ahead.
Hi, I'm Christy.
Mike McNamee.
Gerald Mish.
Caesar Bobadilla.
John Reynolds.
Thank you. Thank you for being here. Billy, that was a very good catch, bud. Thank you.
That was actually Bill Sestro.
Oh, okay. Mr. Sestrom, thank you for tuning in.
See, we're paying attention to the comments.
Yes. Bill's good. He was all over this when I came up with this idea. All right. So, and I'm shooting from the hip here, so you guys don't have to be nervous because I'm nervous. All right. So we went through the write-in process. one of the things I wanted to talk about the write-in process too, if you have any questions on that, I was told to direct the questions to the village clerk's office. If the village clerk is not there, then you can talk to the deputy village clerk. The village clerk is Marissa, correct? And the deputy clerk is Katie at the village of Walden. They open at what time tomorrow? Anybody know?
What's
7:30?
tomorrow, Monday, 7:30?
7:30, yeah. So they'll be open during the week. They open at 7:30. And what time? I mean, know what time they close?
I think 4:30.
4:30. Okay, great. Awesome. So that should wrap up. Everybody feel comfortable that was explained? Writing process. If anybody has any more questions about the write-in process, put it in the comments, and then I'm sure they're going to be checking the comments afterwards to answer any questions. I think it's important in an election where you have so many write-in candidates to know exactly what you're getting yourself into. So that's good. All right. And all right. So on to the fun part. We're going to get on to your questions. You ready for that?
We're ready.
So Faith is going to pick the topic, and then I'm going to pick the questions. We're starting the questions tonight with Jerry Mishk, and we'll go this way. Caesar will be last, and then when we do the elevator speech from each candidate, get to hear about them, we'll start that way and go back. Sound good?
Taxes and budget is the topic.
Taxes and budget. All right. So Jerry, under taxes and budget, what areas of the village budget do you believe need the most review or improvement? You have 2 minutes from when you start.
I believe that
Or 3 minutes, I'm sorry, 3 minutes.
I believe that the
I'm
first
getting
thing that
fired.
needs to be addressed is the wish list by all the departments. Usually what the budget process entails, when we start preparing it, is each department head would submit a list of wants or wishes that they need. Quite frankly, in each department, let me just say that the salaries are governed by contractual negotiations and
Okay.
are already set for specifically this year. So we can't really address that too much. So that's already set, that percentage. But a lot of times they ask for new equipment. Some of the equipment may be necessary and we have to bite the bullet, but other times they're just looking to improve their department, which is understandable, but by the same token, I'm not sure that the village taxpayers can afford it. So we look at these things and we whittle it down the best we can. Easiest comparison to look at is the police department. The policy that's been in effect for some time now is that every year they buy 2 new cars. They don't go right to the police department, but then they're used first by the village manager and the head of DPW. And after they have it for a year, they turn it over to the police department. I think that addressing that issue alone, we could look to maybe downsize the manager's car and the DPW head's car to a smaller SUV, because we spend a lot of money on police cars. Police cars are expensive, and they get them as a unmarked package. So then when they go to the police department, we have to dress them up. We have to
Right.
paint them, we have to stripe them, we have to add equipment to them, lights and so forth. It seems a little additional. From my experience from running a fleet in the police department, I found that it was a lot easier to order those cars already packaged.
Okay.
The other thing to look at is some of the improvements that we want to look at in the budget. Lately, I believe it's been the policy to pave roads, do sidewalks a little bit at a time. We may have to address that. And I would like to see, I don't know if it's possible, one of the things that I want to explore this year is that some of the sidewalk work and maybe even some of the pavement can be done by DPW
Okay.
and save the money. Because when it goes out to a contractor, one of the things that has to be done is that they have to get prevailing wage, which is a lot higher than what we pay our employees.
Okay.
So, and parks I can't really address because they seem to be doing well on their own right now. I know a couple of years ago they asked for a
3 minutes.
3 minutes. Okay. Go ahead, you can wrap it up.
They were looking for a field groomer. We didn't think it was necessary since the fields weren't really used that much.
Okay.
So that's about the only thing I can say about parks. Parks, like I said, they're very efficient. They bring in an income in all their programs, and I think it's self-sustaining.
Thank you for that answer. All right, Faith, what's the next topic?
Okay, this is the next one. Next person is economic development and business.
Economic development and business. One of my favorite ones. All right. If you were to get your spot as trustee, what is your plan to attract new businesses to Walden while also supporting the small businesses already there?
Excellent. So we obviously have a very defined downtown commercial corridor running from essentially runs from the Dunkin' Donuts area, runs on the one side of the road up into Main Street where it becomes both sides of the road just past the Mini Mart, running out down Main Street to the Upper Bridge. There's a little bit of stuff on Orange Avenue out to where Sheely's is, and then at the base of the Thruway. Outside of that, there's not a lot of commercial zoned area. We do have a few industrial areas out off Coldenham Road, off of Edmonds Lane and stuff, but we don't have a ton of areas where businesses could actually to move into the village and do stuff. With that, our inventory there is very old. All those areas are very condensed. We are obviously very much a car transient community, whereas 100 years ago when everyone was working in Walden and walking everywhere, now cars have to be addressed.
Right.
With that, there's not a ton of open commercial space that would be able to accommodate those people. Right, we've had an extremely cold winter so far. I know it's affected our ability to go out and knock on doors and meet people and stuff. Well, that affects people that are actually trying to go to businesses and stuff as well. So if you're trying to park at the Oak Street lot and then walk up to Main Street and everything, it becomes a little bit of a deterrent for people. And with that, there's only small shops that are open up there. We don't have any large parcels that are zoned as commercial or anything for anyone to move into. I don't think there's really any other than the mixed use area, which we do have a mixed use zoned area that right now does not take advantage of any of that. The mixed use zoned area is the area where the former Nelco plant, the former package lighting facility, where the railroad tracks are, the old rail depot and warehouse where the animal deli and stuff is, but we haven't really done anything with that. About, I don't know, probably 15, 20 years ago when they first did a study, they got money from the state, and they were able to work with the Walden Local Development Corporation, which is a nonprofit group that was created by the village. It gives the village access to additional monies and stuff. It also gives them the ability to do things with developers and with property owners that the village themselves as a government can't do. Since they initially released that Railroad Place document, they've kind of fell off. There hasn't been much more. I believe the only thing they did after that was they were the primary funding and planning agency for what is now the Worcester's Grove Playground. But other than that, they haven't. I think that we should look to them to kind of
3 minutes.
see if we can re-kickstart that, because that'll give the village another opportunity to work with developers to kind of make that stuff work. When Sam Shashan bought the old package lighting facility, he capped the grounds as required by the DEC's agreement with him because of some stuff. However, there was some money recently released for Superfund sites. It's currently listed as a potential site on the DEC's website and everything, so we would have to do some stuff there. But I believe those are the only areas right now that we have any type of expansion capability. So there is a for sale sign in that building right now. It's owned by an LLC out of a mailbox in Rochester. They're trying to sell it. Across the street, the Nelco property is owned by a local businessman who uses it for warehousing and the black belt shop there, Potion Black Belt Academy. I think those are our two biggest opportunities for getting businesses to move in, but we have to give them some type of property to actually move into. And the village itself can't do it, but I think either utilizing the town IDA or, to me, more appropriately, the Walden Local Development Corporation to work with them to help.
Okay, thank you for your answer. And These are both, you guys get very impressive answers, very,
I
very
know,
good.
they make me really nervous. It's hot.
You're gonna do great. You're gonna do
Come on,
great.
guys.
You're gonna do great.
Please.
Nah, you're gonna do great. Go ahead.
Okay.
Make it easy, Faith. Come on.
Next one,
It's not up to her.
I
It's up to
know.
me.
leadership and
Leadership,
transparency.
transparency. Let's see what we got.
Be nice, Vicky.
I don't know, but that's one of the things people say I'm good at. Hold on.
Being nice? Is that what you're telling me?
Yeah, no, I'm kidding with you. All right. How would you handle disagreements on the village board while still moving the village forward? How would you handle disagreements on the village board while still moving the village forward?
I guess in a couple different ways. So if it's during a meeting, sometimes you just have to learn to disagree. You have to agree to disagree. Everybody has a different opinion. Everybody has a different view. It doesn't mean that somebody's wrong. Doesn't mean somebody's right. You just have to learn to work together and figure it out. Behind closed doors, it's a little bit different. You can handle it a little differently. You can speak a little more freely about it. But at the end of the day, you still need to learn to agree to disagree and meet somewhere in the middle. I might not always agree with anybody here, but at some point, when you're on a board and you're working together, you have to figure that out. You have to meet.
Yeah. See, that wasn't so bad,
It
right?
wasn't so bad.
Yeah. And just to remind everybody, there's certain questions, and that's why we're giving grace. There's certain questions that have a little more meat on the bone, and I'm the one giving it so we can stay within the time constraints. But like that one's gonna have a little less of answer than what you guys had to answer. So there is grace in the time period. We're just asking that they wrap it up after the 3 minutes. So there's no favoritism. Nobody has an agenda here today. We just really had this to get the candidates to be able to get their word out there. So please understand that like there will be more of a deadline on the elevator speech when you guys have your 2 minutes at the end. Okay. You're up next, bud. Great answer, by the way.
Thanks.
That's very good.
Infrastructure and growth.
Infrastructure and growth. Let's be at the top of my pile here. All right. Oh. I'm gonna like this one. I think Fate's gonna like this one.
I'm ready.
I don't even know which one to pick, but I'm gonna go with this one. How should the village approach future housing development?
Well, first of all, we should streamline the building permit process. It's uniquely been too long. On the average, it's probably about 53 days before a building permit can be approved. Secondly, I think we're doing pretty good with residents coming into the village, specifically from New York City. We are slated on all the social medias and the real estate that the village of Walden is a prime area for families to be sending their kids, going to school. You know, we have all the services that are in the village. We have trash, we have water, we have fire department, we have EMS, we have sewer, and aging, but we still have those. As for residences, I firmly believe that we should, I know I'm going to get digged on this, but those secondary homes, those little residences that, you know, mother-in-laws, grandparents could reside in, you know, to help offset.
Like an ADU?
Yes.
Okay.
To help the families, moms and dads are working constantly. You know, they send them to daycare. The kids need to be with their family, mom and dad or grandparents. So I would be a proponent within reason of those type of residences, ADUs in our village. And I respectfully like the fact that we're into infrastructure, right? Or is that part of the question too?
I mean, it's all pertinent to it. Just, you know,
Yeah.
really it's how you think the village should approach to it. So not just like your thing, but like what the village could do.
Yeah. Well, we can negotiate through state legislatures and senators in order to help us with grants to offset some of the costs. Our sewer system is dated, you know. We'll need about $20 to $30 million for us to get a new sewer system. The CDBG grants are too lengthy. I mean, we have 62 counties in the state with over 900 towns and 600 villages that we're all in competition for. There's not a lot of money in New York State, so that's what we need, and we need to get more involved, especially as a government.
Okay, great answer. Just to remind everybody, if you have questions or comments on anything that the candidates have been saying, throw it into the comments. And though they may not get to it tonight, they're all been instructed on where to go to see your comments, or message them, contact them, reach out to them. If there's somebody you're thinking about voting for, they've been easy. They've been posted up at the shops. You can see their signs along the road. Like, find them on social media. But these are your candidates. So get in touch with them. Or if you have more questions on what they're saying, like, and you want to get behind it, hit them up. And thank you again for your time, because I know this isn't easy. We all have families and everything, businesses and everything else to get to. So thank you again. All right, you're up, Caesar.
Safety and quality of life.
Safety.
Love it.
Not OSHA though. What would you do to improve quality of life for families living in the village?
What would I do to improve quality of life? I guess because...
I mean, as a trustee, so not, you
No,
know.
yeah, but I mean, just being new to that position, I guess really reaching out to the community and see how they feel and see what they want, talking with the trustees. I don't like to make promises or say I'm going to do this for the village. I can definitely. I honestly want to be the voice for the people, the community. So listening to what people want, listening to what people like, what change people want, is really what I want to be on this board. I don't have solutions for all these problems, but what I am is I feel like a good team member, which I guess that's it. I feel like I'm a good team member.
Yeah,
You know what I
okay.
mean? But yeah, pretty much listen to the community, communicate with our trustees, our mayor, and just find solutions to
Yeah.
everything, you know what I mean?
And so to go off of that, just as a village resident too, I like your answer, thank you. Our mayor, Becky Pearson, encouraged people to do something, and I did it. I listened to her. She said, go to meetings. And if you do want to be heard, and you do want to have that voice, it can't just be in the comments. They have public comment, they have ways to do that at these village meetings, and some of the people here that are running man to being a trustee, we have people that already are the current trustee, like, would you agree, like, that's the best way for them to reach and the best way to make a difference, to have those changes being made?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And my hope out of this was honestly to make, to bring to light that we need everybody to start coming to the village meetings, having a voice.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Because right now you don't really see nobody coming to meetings. Nobody really has that voice, you know?
Yeah.
And we need people to start coming to meetings. So,
Yeah, that's a big part of it. It's very easy to sit home and just complain, or just to have an opinion. But when you actually do something, when you actually get out there, like this is an example of that. But I would just say, don't just be the voice behind the keyboard. So that was painless, right? We made it all through? You guys are so nervous. I mean, for the most part, you have to know the answers to these, and I think you all know that when you don't know the answers, like, you're people of service, you're serving the village. You don't have to have all the answers too. You just have to get the answers. You have to work together to get the answers. So, and I can only come from a resident perspective and business owner, so I'm just giving my 2 cents. It doesn't mean much. All right, so that was it, and now we're gonna move on to the why and what and why, right? Why are you running, what you hope to accomplish, and why residents should vote for you. So, Caesar, you get to kick this off, and then we're gonna go back that way.
all right. I want to thank everybody first. But Walden has been my home since 1980. My wife and I raised our family here, and over the years, I have tried to stay involved in the community. Coaching Walden rec sports, serving as a scout leader, and helping with community programs whenever I could. Giving back to the village has always been important to me because Walden has given so much to my family. For the past few years, I have had the privilege of serving on the planning board. During that time, I have worked with residents, engineers, developers, and the village officials. I have learned how important thoughtful planning and good communication are when making decisions that affect our community's future. I also spent a short time working with the Walden DPW, which gave me a first-hand look at how the village operates day to day. That experience helped me understand that hard work that goes into maintaining our roads, infrastructure, and service that residents rely on. One thing I truly believe in is that local government works best when people work together. No one person runs a village. It takes a team. Trustees, village staff, departments, and residents all have to communicate and collaborate to move our community forward. When people work as a team, bringing their experiences and perspectives to the table, the entire community benefits. Walden is a special place, and my goal as a trustee would be simple: to listen to residents, work respectfully with the board and village staff, and make thoughtful, responsible decisions that protect our village while planning wisely for the future. I would be honored to earn your support and your vote. Thank you.
Thank you. Is this the elevator report?
This is the elevator speech. This is where you go.
Okay. Oh, I hate talking about myself, but anyway. Thank you again, everybody, for taking Sunday evening out. I'm glad I didn't have to cook tonight. But anyway, the reason why I'm running is to return back to the village of Walden. I was the former trustee. I was on the planning board. I'm the former mayor, and there were some things that I needed to finish, some unfinished business. There was a few things that I needed that I'd like to accomplish, which is the infrastructure. I would love to see a new sewer system. We are aging, but it's still working. The sewer and water people are doing a phenomenal job at keeping the Band-Aids on. As we see, sometimes we have water main breaks. But anyway, the point is, I would like to continue to do Village of Walden work. I'm approachable. Everybody can reach me online, see me in the various stores, gas station, getting a sandwich, and I would be extremely proud to represent the Village of Walden yet again, so I can finish some work.
Thank you. You're up.
My turn, yay. My why. I was on the board a couple years ago, and it opened my eyes to a lot. There was a lot of things that I didn't know, a lot of things that I learned, a lot of things that happened behind the scenes. And unfortunately, due to personal reasons, I did not run again when the time was up. Becky did ask me to sit in for her year, and at the time it just wasn't feasible for me, so I had to decline. And I think that after this past year of seeing certain things, hearing certain things, that I'd like to get back to it and hopefully kind of pull it back on track, maybe going in the right direction that it was going. So my accomplishments, there's so much to accomplish, I can't really pick out one or two things. I know there's been questions about sidewalks in certain areas, certain streets for years now, Gladstone being one of them. So that would be great to try to work something on that. I know it's been on the radar for a few years, so I would just hope that in my time I can get something done. I would just hopefully, like I said, to get back on there. I was there for 2 years, and hopefully it could be another 2 years.
Okay. Thank you.
My name is Mike McNamee. I'm a newcomer to attempting anything at village government. I have not sat on any boards or anything at the village level. I've been a member of the fire department since I was 14, joining 2002, so 24 years now. Worked my way through the ranks of previously chief of the fire department in Walden. I currently serve at the county level on the county fire advisory board as one of the two representatives of the towns of Montgomery and Crawford. And other than that, my only other government service has been I've been a civil service employee since 2007 when I started as a part-time dispatcher with the Village of Walden Police, which gave me a lot of insight of how some of the stuff works in the Village of Walden, because a lot of the stuff throughout the day goes back through that. I remember being just a 19-year-old kid working snowstorms where they were towing 19 cars because nobody said it was going to snow, and we hit 2.0001 inches of snow over 8 hours, and all of a sudden people's cars are getting towed. But right, so little things like that. Based on that experience stuff, I think we could look at maybe create some type of structured plan and stuff for that. I will say the village, for the most part, right now, the village board is going through their code review process. Every meeting or every other meeting, there's a couple code review items up there. The trustees are expected to go through, read those 3 or 4 codes that are on the agenda, come with any opinions. I do think that a lot of the foresight of being proactive stops at that level, though. What I've seen over the last few years, not just this board that's on there today, over the last few years, I believe they've been extremely reactive. Right? If you look at the comprehensive plan that is currently in draft format, it's the 3rd version of the same plan we initially did. I believe it was in 2012 or so. It was initially adopted. There are still items marked as immediate concerns in the 2012 version that was an immediate concern, a short term in the 19 revision that is still going to be listed as an immediate. To me, that's just unacceptable. I understand that we have, there's financial constraints and everything, but we can't just keep putting out the same pieces of paper and saying, oh yeah, we should get on this. We should get on this now, because we're almost 2 decades later and nobody's got on any of it. I shouldn't say any of it, right? There are certain items there that have been done. And that's why I just want to kind of step back, and I think we need to look at the whole overall village operation from a 10,000-foot view. We need to look at what we're doing, how we're doing it. Caesar, I think, probably had one of the hardest questions of the night with the quality of life in the village, because, I may be alone in this, but I think the quality of life in the village is great. I walk my kids to school. We're always walking to the parks. If you watch any of the message boards and everything, there's no rec department that puts out a fraction of the services and stuff that our recreation department is putting out. The seniors, I think we could do a little better of forcing the county to send some of their senior services to the village, as opposed to most of our seniors going to Montgomery. But overall, the quality of life in Walden, I think, is very good. But I do think we need to step back, look at it. Maybe we need to take some stuff off the manager's plate and give it back to the elected people. Right now, if you want to get on the zoning board, the planning board, any of that, essentially a bureaucrat makes those appointments, right? So as the elected board of trustees and the mayor, if they're not doing their job, right, or everything has to go back through the manager. I understand that the day-to-day, I do appreciate the manager form of government. I think that having someone there Monday through Friday, someone there that's managing the budget year over year, we don't get into the budget issues like the town's currently going through with massive, right, because we have a full-timer and that's their job. But I don't think we should transfer all the government operations to his job. I think the board of trustees should be the ones appointing those boards, stuff like that. They should be overseeing those boards, because we answer to the people. And I think it could be a little more streamlined with that. But I think that works into my belief is a whole overall top-down look and see where we can make the whole village of Walden a little more efficient.
Thank you. Thank you very much. And again, like I said, there's grace. So when we say 2 minutes, wrap it up. Do fine. Go ahead.
So first of all, good evening to all the village residents that are viewing this feed. I'm honored to address you tonight at the invitation of Dickie Baxter with the assistance of Acquisitions Management, which has provided this opportunity to introduce the candidates. Although I am the sole candidate present, well, I take that back. This was written for the
Understood.
community. I view this as an essential aspect of representing our community. As your current trustee and candidate, I remain committed to fulfilling the board responsibilities and being accessible to all residents. I extend my gratitude again to Dickie for organizing this event. By way of introduction, I have resided in the village for 42 years. My 2 children were raised here, and now they're raising their own families within the community. I was married 39 years until my wife's passing. My professional background includes 27 years of service as a police officer with the city of Middletown, where I established the first narcotics unit, served primarily as a detective, and concluded my career as a unit commander. Additionally, I acted as PBA representative, assisting in contract negotiations. I hold a bachelor's degree in criminal justice and a minor in labor relations. Previously, I served as a trustee from 2013 to 2017, and later as an associate village justice from 2017 to 2021. During the COVID pandemic, I was appointed acting justice for both the village and town of Montgomery courts, in addition to the village of Walden. Volunteerism has played a significant role in my life. I coached girls softball within the Walden Little League. I held the position of vice president for 1 year. I contributed to set construction for the Valley Central musicals, continuing this involvement beyond my children's graduation, and participated in the renovation of Honor Flight's inaugural building in Walden. I'm an active member of the Knights of Columbus, currently serving as Grand Knight. The organization raises funds and donates the proceeds to charities, including food pantries, recreation department, Codes for Kids initiative. As trustee, I'm dedicated to strengthening governance, enhancing both infrastructure and aesthetic appeal of the village. I intend to advocate for grant applications that benefit the village and its businesses, promote new businesses development, and collaborate with a skilled developer to pursue state incentive grants for downtown revitalization. Furthermore, I aim to advance the police department's progress towards state accreditation, which is a recognized standard of professionalism. I have a couple minutes, another
You
minute?
still got time, man. Good.
Okay.
Oh, listen,
Just
that was perfect. He was right at 2 minutes, but go ahead, finish.
Yeah, good.
That was
No, I
like
just
you
wanted
timed
to,
that.
I just wanted to state one thing that was mentioned. Building permit timing is drastically improved since we have a new building inspector. She has taken it a step further and gone back over building permits that were in the hopper for a long time. I couldn't find any reasons why they were denied or never answered. So those have all moved forward. In a particular building,
Right, I think she just started 2 weeks ago, correct?
yeah, a particular building that I'm familiar with because it's directly behind me, was issued a building permit and actually started the work almost immediately after the closing. I think that's grade A. I don't think you can do much better than that. And it's really moving along. And their sewer capability, one thing I wanted to address too, is lagging way behind. We've been under orders from DEC to get up to speed, and they've given us concessions and extensions well beyond since when I left the board in 2017, and it's still going on. We recently were unable to attain a couple of grants, which we thought we had, that would have paid for a good portion of the sewer transformation. However, for some reason, the paperwork was not either completed in time or was not submitted in time, so we lost those grants. We really need to move forward with that, and that should be the number one priority that I'm looking at if I'm reelected as trustee.
Okay. Well, that was that portion of it. Thank you guys all for that, and very instructive, very good stuff. We have some time left, so I'm gonna give you guys the choice. I can either have you pick another question from what I had, which you know what the questions are, or Faith can pick them from the audience.
There's several statements of support of people on here, several statements of things, and there is one good question that I will say, if you guys choose, you can go around and answer this, or what Dickie has. But it says, if you were voted in as trustee, what is the one village issue that you hope to resolve by the end of your term?
Well, hold on. You gotta
Yeah.
call out who said it.
Well, who asked that?
Yeah.
Albert.
Is it Aldo Relevancia?
Thank
Yeah.
you.
Yeah, I saw. I don't have my comments coming up, so I
Okay.
can't see any.
Yeah.
That's why I was asking you for them. But I saw him commenting on when we were gonna have this. I don't know who that is. I don't believe, but unless I see him in the village.
He's a good dude, yeah, I know.
But I did see the question when I just scrolled up on somebody else's Facebook. So
There's a couple of comments, just to be in full disclosure for everybody, which I know you'll see afterwards. couple of comments. Somebody commented on possibly helping Most Precious Blood get an SRO. Comments about what trustees get paid per meeting, and is it fair that they're getting paid for meetings that they don't attend. And then William Lopez had a very similar comment to what Trustee Mish just commented, was why are we not putting in grants, federal and state? But that was answered.
So what would you guys rather do? Go around with that one question on what you'd be able to do before the end of your term, or do you want to grab these? It's totally your call.
Go around with the questions.
All right.
You want to do with Albert's question?
Sure.
Yeah? Is that cool? Okay.
So Albert's question is, if you were voted in as trustee, what is the one village issue that you hope to resolve by the end of your term?
And what we'll do is we'll start here with Christy. We'll go around this way and end with you. All right?
I would love to say everything, but there's not enough time or power to do that. Again, I think I'd go back to these sidewalks and certain streets that have been an issue for years. I would really like to see Gladstone. If anybody who lives up in that area, I don't live on Gladstone, but I do live in that area, so when I walk my dog, when I'm not so lazy and I decide to go and take a little jog, which isn't often, but I walk the dog often, you can't walk on the sidewalk because it's all like crazy. Riding your bikes, you can't do that up there. And there's a lot of kids up there. So I'd really like to see that get done.
Okay. Thank you.
Me?
Yeah. Good ones.
Fill that question again?
Yep.
I'm
The
trying to
question
do my
again is, if you were voted in as trustee, what is the one village issue that you hope to resolve by the end of your term?
Well, we've had a number of questions posed to us by Mr. Baxter, and to isolate just one thing that I would be able to do or be able to help to do in the village is really a difficult thing, but I'll take a stab at it. Granted, sidewalks need to be repaired. I run a lot. I do have a couple accidents every now and then, but sidewalks and paving. I think the DPW has been doing a great job selecting the areas where it needs attention. I believe the DPW goes out and fixes a couple sidewalks every now and then, but they do have an overabundance and tasking to do in the village. We have a water main break. They're there for 10, 15 hours trying to fix that. And to give credit to them, they do have a lot of work to do in the village. I believe we only have 9 in the DPW, including the mechanic. But we do have a myriad of items that need to be taken care of. For me to isolate, one specific thing, I can't do it. It's a push list, just like any construction, you go, with the most prioritized item. I would like to see parking. Parking is atrocious. We're getting a lot of cars, and I would propose, I know grants are out there, but I would love to see a parking garage in the village of Walden. A big structure, just like some of the cities have. And we can house more cars in the village for businesses.
Thank you. I know that, just only because I looked into that, but I'm a business owner, so my thought on that, so I'm giving you any feedback of both what you said, because I think it's important and a lot of where these answers are going to go, but business standpoint with the parking, because we all know the parking comes up. Like I'm sure you go door to door and hear about it and all the things. Some of the parking garage alternatives, and I like where your head was at, Jerry, because of the grant money, there are self-sufficient, even give back to the grid. I don't know if you saw, like some of the stadiums are being built with the moving solar and stuff, that gives back to the system. And because one of the parking lots is so close to water, even running with like a turbine or something where you could be getting kind of water pushback, could really give back to our utility services. You could have car charge in there that could establish revenue. There's a lot of great ways to give back to that. So I just love that somebody touched on that tonight. And I know, because I've been at meetings and I've heard, and I've talked to a lot of people too. I remember I was like, we can't build a second floor on our village. So I think the only way now is for alternatives. So it's good to hear that you guys are talking about that. Thank you. Caesar, go ahead.
So just like I said in my in the Walker Valley Times, it's just pretty much infrastructure, right? And what I mean by that is your sewer, right? It's old, right? And I hear a lot about expansion and growth and all that, right? But it's like, I feel like Walden is like a house built in 1870, 1817 or something with old pipes, and now you want to expand on this house. You know what I mean? You want to make it beautiful. My main concern is yeah, let's expand and grow, but let's make sure our utilities in our house are good first. You know what I mean? And that's really, and I've talked to some people about the sewer, and I guess we might have grants. I'm not sure, right? We might have grants going to that, Jerry. I'm not sure.
Yes.
All right, and that's a good thing, right? And then the Walden DPW, like the people that work for the village, we got to keep them happy. The police officers, you know what I mean? We got to keep them happy. We got to keep them here. Why are people leaving the village? Do you know what I mean? That's a question that needs to be answered.
Yeah.
And then trying to keep them happy, because without a village people, without the DPW and without their experience, I mean, the village will not run smoothly. I mean, they're responsible for the basins and the sewers and for the snow. And if you can't keep good people here, our village is not going to run smoothly, and it's not going to be protected right. Cops don't want to, police officers don't want to stay here. Do you know what I mean? So for me, those are my issues. And if I can help make them a little better before I leave, that would be great, for me.
Yeah, I like that answer. Again, I meet people from every town. My business is getting people in their homes, and I move a lot of people to Walden too, and I live in Walden. And I've never quite seen anything like our DPW and our police and people that we have working in this village. So I saw during one of the meetings too that they were talking about doing like some team building to keep that positive energy up. I think it's a great idea, just because we do. You ever just drive along and see one of those guys with the basins out, sitting up there to their chest,
And I've done
it's
it.
freezing out, and like you're just seeing, and that's a Tuesday morning for them. They still got to go eat their lunch after just doing all that. Like our snowstorms, and they're out. They've been out there for 12 hours. Like we have some good men and women that work in this village and make it happen. And I think keeping them happy and keeping them here is a good idea. I think it's a very, very good way to go. Jared, go ahead.
Do you mind me
Actually-
repeat the question again? You got
Yeah,
it.
okay. Actually, I think everybody's ideas are great, and I think there's one common denominator in all those ideas. We need the money. And you can only tax the people so much money. So part of my elevator speech, for what you call it, was to address an issue with a developer. I propose that the board seek out, where they have to go nationwide, a professional developer that's willing to invest not only his time, but his money in the village. And we work on beautifying the downtown and restoring the architecture that's there now and put it so it's a beauty. Like, you look at some places, like, look at the city of Beacon. I remember growing up on that side of the river, the city of Beacon was a downtrodden city. Now you go there, it's a tourist trap. It really is. Beautiful place. Businesses all over. There's not one empty store on that main drag. I believe that if we can get somebody in there to start that, we can then be a profitable businesses come in and then get a bigger tax base to help work on the other things. And when it comes to parking, that would be part of it, whether it be a parking garage. But one of the most underutilized parking lots we have is the one off of Oak Street. And maybe it's because of signage. I've been arguing about signage for 2 years for that parking lot, to direct people to get to that parking lot.
It also doesn't touch Main Street.
Right. We can address a lot of those issues, I believe, by doing downtown. And some of the simple things that can be done to beautify downtown is the marked crosswalks, not with paint, but with the stamped concrete and parking them out. If you go over to the village of Fishkill, not only do they have the crosswalks marked out that way, but they also have the curb run out to protect the pedestrians. And they also have, as a pedestrian approaches the intersection, flashing lights around it so that the people stop as they're supposed to in New York State. But again,
When you started with that, you started with the money. So I just had a question for you. Like, where do you think we find that to do that?
well, see, this is with the
Is
develop,
that the developer?
the developer has to have a set plan
Mm.
in order to apply for some of these grants like the Village of Montgomery just got.
Why can't we apply for them?
We can, but we have to have a plan. We have to have a
Because I'm
definite.
just saying, because rather than find a nationwide developer, like, we have developers right here. We
Well,
could be
if
creating
that's fine.
jobs with people that live right here in the village and that are already, that raise their families here. And if the village could find that grant money and then allocate with RFPs out to these people, you're keeping all the money right here and not sending it to wherever Toll Brothers or somebody else is. Just thinking out loud.
Well,
And then they're using the mechanics here for their equipment. They're buying all their equipment at Chambers and everywhere else. Like, just, and I'm just, because I think what you have is like probably one of the best ideas I've ever heard. I think, and nobody talks about this.
and again, if they're willing to invest the money, because they have to invest money too into this project,
Yeah.
okay? And I'll
But we also have a lot of good local banks that would get behind it.
if that's the case, that's great, but then I asked the question before I was on the board, why didn't that happen?
I think that's why we need new candidates. So.
Okay, but I think that, like I said, the developer, in order to get a grant, these grants from the state, we have to have a written, laid out plan,
Mhm.
okay, including blueprints. And that's where the developer comes in. And if we don't partner up with a developer from wherever he may be, he or she may be, then we're not gonna get through with all those grants.
That's a good idea. Yeah. Thank you.
First thing I want to acknowledge is, so this question is something we can change before the end of my first term, right? To 2-year term. I think getting a national developer in to redevelop one of these large parcels, putting in a parking garage, that's great. None of that. It's impossible to do that in 2 years.
We're all wishing.
Right? Absolutely, right? So I'm going to try to keep mine to just, what can I do before April of 2028 it would be.
Yes.
And as I've been walking around, like last week it was warmer, so I had a lot more houses. One of the number one concerns I kept hitting from people was cost of living. Now I don't have an escrow; I pay my tax bills. When the village taxes come out, I pay that bill personally, school tax. So I know, and a lot of the people I've been speaking with are older people who own their homes outright and everything, and most younger families and everything, because of their mortgages and stuff, are required to have an escrow. So they see money going out every month on the escrow line, but it's all one big cost. They don't really. And our older, or especially like I said, our seniors, or people who have lived here for a while, they see that bill when they pay in September, when they pay their school bill, and when they pay the town and county and fire and ambulance and library and everything in January, and then when they got to cut that check again early summer for the village, like they feel it and they really see it. Obviously, school taxes are the largest nut on that of that for everyone, and there's not a ton we can do there with the state funding and everything. But locally, right? So if you live on Highland Avenue in the village, right? Couple houses over the line onto High Meadows Road, you could have at the end of that road where the town line is, a lot of those houses are nearly identical. Your municipal taxes, right? If you're paying the Village of Walden tax and the town A fund tax, you are literally paying more than double than the resident just over the line in High Meadows, who's paying just the town A, the town B, and the highway. Obviously, there's much more tax base in the town and everything. And I think the village has done a good job of keeping the overall budget pretty low and everything, but I think we need to truly look at where we can bring money in outside of just taxing the residents and everything.
Okay.
So I want to touch on the grant thing, because that's a huge thing. It's been a lot of conversation. I know the manager put something out in the Walker Valley Times last week in response to an editorial. I personally met with Becky and John back in August. I'd asked Becky to sit down. I had some ideas and everything I wanted to run by her. One of those was the Downtown Revitalization Initiative, right, which is the $10 million grant. Montgomery got the New York Forward, which is a $4.5 million, $5 million grant. For the Mid-Hudson region, there's one $10 million winner and two of the half sizes every year. The state of New York says Village of Walden's not eligible for that, because the state of New York has created additional rules saying that you need to be a pro-housing community to be eligible for that. So although the village is working on an application, that's great, you have to become a certified pro-housing community first.
It's a good thing we have RDAC right in the village.
And the Village of Walden zoning prevent that currently. There's two ways to become a pro-housing. One is to have a certain amount of, hit a certain year-over-year percentage of new building permits for new housing. Right now, unless they finally break ground and actually start building houses in the Overlook Farm, or Overlook at Kid Farm,
Yeah.
we're not going to come anywhere close to that. And even that, I think, would be iffy. The other way to get into it is to have pro-housing zoning, which we are not addressing at all in the current comp plan. So we can sit here and talk about all these grants, but you're not going to be able to get into that. You're not going to be able to get into certain restorative grants. The Senate and the Assembly have both agreed to the initial to the governor's proposal this year of a $100 million program specifically for water and sewer infrastructure. The Village of Walden isn't eligible to that because they specifically already acknowledged that's going to be tied to a pro-housing community requirement. So it's great that we sit here and we talk about getting grants and everything, but again, we have to step back and look at absolutely everything, because we can throw names out like the New York Forward and the Downtown Revival, but we have to sit and look, and if we can spend all our time on these plans, but we really need to sit and look at it.
Yeah.
There's other things that trigger for it. I know the manager did say that we're waiting on engineering approvals from DEC to be eligible for some additional funding for the sewer plant. Obviously, that's much more needed. A couple other areas, right, like I mentioned before about trying to get the county to push some of their senior funding and stuff and services back to the town. I touched on how our rec department provides a tremendous amount of services. The town, I think, provides $20,000 to $21,000 a year in funding to offset us for our rec programs, because we're the only ones that do legitimate rec programs in the town, and we give town residents an extra like $10. Well, to me, we're subsidizing the town residents and the Village of Montgomery and Maybrook residents by giving them a discount, but letting the town get off the hook with just $20,000. They fund 100% of the town rec department, and they have beautiful fields, right? The Berea Field where the football is and Benedict Park, they're beautiful. They do a great job maintaining them, but they rely on the Village of Walden for all the recreational services, right? And the personal services are expensive, and I think we should look at that as, again, another outside revenue. We need to look at other places to bring money in without increasing fees and increasing taxes. And I think that can be done in less than 2 years.
That was that was a lot. It was good. You guys all did good. It was a great answer. Thank you for your answer. Go ahead.
Let Christy answer that last question.
Didn't you go first?
I did.
Sure.
Oh, that's right. Okay, sorry.
Faith, come on now.
Sorry.
You're supposed to be helping me, all right? Come on.
I know,
First,
sorry.
I changed up the order.
Yeah.
Give it a second try.
How they can reach out, everybody individually reintroduce.
Yes,
And then
yes.
when voting is and how to get there.
I'm gonna start here, go all the way around, say who you are, how to get a hold of you. If you need to write in how to spell your name, all that good stuff, let them know. Okay.
Okay. My name is Christy Hall. You can reach out to me on Facebook. We do have a team email. It's waldenforward@gmail.com. You can reach out to that. I did want to address one thing. Don't kick
Go ahead.
me. I'm sorry.
I'm here.
I did see a comment on there. Why didn't the write-in candidates do the proper paperwork? They did. They went out. Everybody went out and got all of the signatures required. Everybody was out in the cold. They did everything. Unfortunately, in the back office, there was a clerical issue. It was not due to anybody here. So it wasn't their fault. I just want to make sure everybody knows that. But like I said, reach out to me on Facebook. Most of you know how to find me through St. Baldrick's or the Firehouse or something.
And I don't think also that anybody here cares. I think everybody here
No.
cares about Walden. I don't think
Yeah.
it's not that you shouldn't care about the process. The process is very important. And look, in my opinion, as a resident, not somebody running for office, I think you guys I want to know that people know how to do their clerical work and know how to fill out these forms and do everything. So I don't know what happened on the back end, but it would matter to me. I think what shows here is you have 5 people and a 6 that wanted to be here, but they had a death in the family, that really want to help Walden. We heard from the answers tonight. So it's not about write-ins or who's on the ballot and stuff. It's about they're here for you. If you believe in them, vote for them.
Yeah.
We all want the Village of Walden to be a better place, or to celebrate how great it is and just keep that going. Thank you for that. Go ahead.
Again, I just want to thank you guys for the opportunity to do this. I do want to say I do not fault in any way, shape, or form the Village of Walden Community Council for their decision not to allow the write-ins. It's definitely a slippery slope. And if you let them in one way, then you get anyone can be a write-in, right? Obviously, we run around, like me and Christy had the exact same petitions. She got on because she signed a piece of paper on village letterhead that she was handed and was told I didn't need to, right? That they were in the same situation with the Village Voices. They're on the same piece of paper. it is what it is. I do thank the community council for attempting to host it.
And
With
for
that,
everything they do.
yes.
Yeah.
So I can't fault them for that. But again, I do want to thank you guys for the opportunity to do this here today. I can't walk around with a camera and do a live stream myself. That's just not my personality. I will sit down and talk with anybody and anything. So if anyone wants to give me a call, reach out to me either via Facebook or the email that Christy gave everyone. Absolutely. With that, there's a couple of signs out. We didn't want to kill everyone with signs. Just get my name somewhat close. If there is a bubble, or there's one of the things we're not 100% sure about right now is if there is a bubble on the write-in line. If the bubble is there, circle it, fill it out completely like a Scantron, like you would the other on the ballot. If there is not, then there shouldn't be one required. But as of right now, we're a little unsure of whether there will be a bubble or not on there. But again, if there is, please, if you're going to write anyone in, myself or someone else, fill it in if it does exist.
Sure, thank you.
On Facebook, I'm known as Jerry Mishk, not Gerald. That's probably the easiest way to get a hold of me. But Gerald, I also have an email, geraldmishk@gmail.com. You can get a hold of me that way. In the past, people have come knocking on my door to either complain or raise an issue. So apparently a lot of people know where I live. So that's not an issue either. I thank you for this time, I really do. I wasn't sure I was going to be able to make it tonight, and I'm glad I was.
We appreciate that too. We know you had services to go to tonight. You still made the effort, so thank you very, very much for that. Which one of you wants to go next? Caesar.
I'm Caesar Bobadilla. If you want to get a hold of me, you can reach out to me at caesarsdrywall@yahoo.com. That would be CESARS at drywall@yahoo.com. Or you can hit me up on Facebook. We also have the Village Voices page that you can reach out to us at anytime and ask us questions for anything. And with that, I just want to say thank you to everybody for supporting me through this. I learned a lot about myself and a lot about my community, especially my wife. I love you. Yeah, thank you, everybody. That's it.
Thank you.
As Caesar stated, our Village Voices webpage is on the site. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to give us a call, a shout. I'm approachable anywhere in the village. I enjoy my coffees at Calculated Confections and at the gas station, and I eat very well, especially at the Spanish restaurant, the chicken pollo rico. So, and we're here to expand on what the future for Village of Walden is. We have quality people in this village, and we need to tap those resources. As was stated, that we need to gain engineers, architects, to make the village great. We do need to, fix some infrastructure things. But I'd be honored to serve with my two counterparts. I'd be honored to serve with everybody else here and continue on making the village great.
Thank you. So that kind of wraps it up. Thank you everybody out there in social media, and thank you to my wife who saw me do this and goes, great, to keep another thing to add to your list of things to do today. And thank you to your families for allowing you guys to come out. I know that you all have careers and you have organizations that you belong to and everything, and services you have to attend and stuff, and you still made the time. Keep that in mind. You go to cast your vote. These are the ones that want to vote for you. I'd like to give a shout out to Jerry Hannon too. I know that he withdrew, but it takes a lot to run for this office and do everything that has to do. And that's somebody that's at every meeting. That's somebody that's committed to the village. And March 18th at the Anita Vandermark Community Center, 6 a.m. to 9 p.m. You can vote March 18th, so go ahead and vote. You have all the information on here. You can go back and watch this. This will stream for the next 30 days at Acquisitions Marketing's Facebook. Please, I'd like to thank Billy Iverson and his team at Acquisitions Marketing. This would not have been possible. This would have looked like crap and sounded like crap. And you would have had one phone that everybody would have been complaining about the audio. It would not have gone smooth. And I can tell you personally, from somebody that built their brand with Billy, that he has one of the best marketing companies in our county and luckily in our village, right on Main Street. So if you're looking to build your business, make sure you're calling Acquisitions Marketing, calling Billy. They are the team to bring you to success. So please give them a call. And thank you again, Billy, for your services tonight. I'd like to thank Faith Moore from Ardac and Rupco for being here tonight and watching the comments. Another great person. I heard housing come up. She's the queen of housing. She cares. She's the Mother Teresa of housing, I should say, because she just cares almost too much. And then I sell. So that's fine also. But thank you to everyone. Thank you for your time.
Can you just remind social media man that if anybody needs a ride to the polling place, to reach out to anybody that is here?
Yeah.
And we will make sure that happens.
Yeah, all the candidates, I'm sure would love to give you a ride there, maybe a little elevator speech on the way or tell you how to spell their name. But yeah, definitely hit it up, or just, I'm sure, Facebook's a beautiful place. There's a lot of village groups on the Facebook who want to help everybody that can get there. So thank you, everyone. Have a great evening.